our esteemed DTK is out and about doing fun things. So kudos to him. He'll be back. Next week. I think he's due to be back. So he'll be out for a week. He's enjoying some time with family. So we're happy for him. And as you can see, he's still he still keeps a pulse on the NFT and crypto world. So in the meantime, we're just going to go through some fundamentals, and from that perspective, DTK does a great job bringing people along who are seasoned in the space. And frankly, when he's talking, I'm like, what now? And I'm like copying links and like trying to get all up to speed in the DeFi world, et cetera, et cetera. But when you're hanging out with Twamuk, it's going to be a fundamentals type of deal. So some of us, this will be for anybody who's in the server who maybe doesn't know how to set things up. That'll be something where this could be useful for you. We're going to record it, we're going to post it, and that'll be useful to link to other people as well. So I'm kind of hoping this will be pretty quick so we can get to some fun. But I'm gonna pretend that we're brand new in the space. So I'm gonna role play, if you will, as soon as I share my screen here. But as I'm sharing my screen, so I'm just pretending like this wasn't too long ago for me. This was earlier this year, right? So 2021 turns around. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, I hear about, crypto's kind of fun. As some of you saw, I've built, some mining rigs, and I kind of got into that space. I only got off of normal operating systems last year. So I was kind of a Windows and Mac dude, and then I made the jump and officially started building Linux boxes, and I was feeling rather proud of myself. And then I wanted to do some mining, and so then I did that, and that was fun. But then along the way, started learning about, obviously with mining, you're getting some crypto going, and we started trading that around, switching it around, doing different things. I got a couple wallets going, and then NFTs became a thing. So let's just pretend we're going to get rid of this. So we're going to remove this extension. Let's pretend you're just brand new to the space, and you come here and you're like, I've got money. That's cool. I want to turn it into crypto, and then I want to buy an NFT. Maybe that's you're here and you're saying, I want to do, I want to buy a sweet holiday ape. These guys are helping us out. DTK is awesome. I want to support him. These guys rule at trivia, whatever. You guys want to do that, but you don't know how to do it. So what you got to do is you figure out, well, I need to turn my currency into cryptocurrency. So we call that fiat. And so just a simple Google search, fiat to crypto, turning fiat into crypto. Come up with a couple things. You can see I did my little pre-research, but just coming up with stuff. You can pull up a couple articles. What is fiat? You're like, that's great. That's researchy. I want to know how can I get that done? Then you can see some recommended crypto exchanges. And then I like to cross-reference stuff. So I see eToro, StormGain, AvaTrade, IQ, Coinbase. That's great. How do you do this legally? It's always good to do your research. Depending on the country you're in, you're going to have different rules are going to be at play. It's an evolving field. I don't know. Some of you may have come across it in a couple drops, but I know GMAN's referenced that we have an attorney on the team. That's me. I actually did get licensed as an attorney, and this whole crypto world is brand new, but it's going to tie back to copyright. It's going to tie back to intellectual property. We'll see how that develops. Usually you have to wait a few years for things to get through court systems and whatnot. But when we start talking international impact, it's like, man, it's going to take a long time for this stuff to kind of distill into something that's predictable. So anyway, I'm continuing to do my kind of research, pretending again I'm new to the space. I've seen Coinbase twice now. Binance I've seen. What am I going to do? I don't really know. But if you do your research and you end up settling on a way to do it, I just like to do whatever works. We call it building a skateboard in the corporate world, right? It's like you want to develop something that'll just work for what you want it to do. Worry about the bells and whistles later. Yeah, Creature's wondering if I can explain blockchains. I can. I should drop my link to my favorite blockchain in the chat here. But blockchains, let's see if I actually probably have it saved. Let's check it here. I can drop it in the chat. Security learning items. Would it be digital admin? Learn dev? No, we don't want that. I might have to find it later.
If you like that one, might be one I could cover quick. Give you the 1 minute overview.
Yeah, go for it while I find the link.
Sure. So blockchain, is anyone familiar with databases? It's kind of what a database is. I like to think of it as like a giant spreadsheet, right? A database. Yep. So perfect. If you guys can think of like an Excel, a spreadsheet, right? A database is just like 100 of those spreadsheets put together, and that really makes up what we call a database. Blockchain is really one giant global database that exists all over the world, and it's synchronized between what's called nodes, or these kind of mining rigs, like what Twamuk was talking about, right? Those mining rigs basically process transactions on this global giant database. And so when we make a transaction from one point to another point, that transaction, instead of like going through eBay and then going through your credit card processor and then going back to eBay and then eventually to the person's bank, right? What actually happens is these nodes all over the world are processing this transaction on what's called the blockchain, right? And so blockchain is just this giant string of a transaction in that database that's allowing all of the computers in the world to say, yep, this transaction happened. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. It's you can just think of it as like not a database in a computer, right, but a global database that's transferring and keeping track of all the transactions. And so that's kind of it at a high level. Hopefully that helped.
Sweet. Thanks, G-Man. Yeah, and to the extent you have copious amounts of time, this 3 blue 1 brown guy, he does a fantastic job of breaking it down in about a half an hour. So highly recommended there. The blockchain, obviously, good stuff to be had, and a global database, as G-Man put it well. Back to our kind of tutorial. How do we do things? I want to turn my cash money into cryptocurrency. I've seen Coinbase on a couple sites, kind of living the spirit of the I just need to get this done. Look up Coinbase, and you find that, wow, the future of money's here. That's great. You heard on maybe this podcast, maybe another podcast, maybe podcast. You heard on this stream or some other wherever. You've heard Coinbase enough that you're thinking maybe this is trustworthy. And I'm here to tell you that I use it. It's one of the 2 platforms I use to turn fiat into cryptocurrency. Funny enough, I haven't actually turned crypto back into fiat, so that's a leg of the journey I have yet to do. But in terms of getting started, you will have to enter personal information. That is part of the game. So that is you're not going to be able to disassociate your personal identity from your kind of crypto presence. There's always going to be one hook back into somewhere. And that's if you're using legal platforms. I think there are some platforms out there that'll get around that, but you can do your own research there and see if you want to take those risks. I don't recommend that. I think staying as legal as possible allows you the space to kind of have as much fun as possible, because everything comes at a cost. Everything's going to get, we say taxed, but there's different kinds of taxes rather than just monetary tax. Like, for instance, Coinbase is going to take a fee here or there, on certain transactions. So there's a tax for the Coinbase platform to actually function. And that's gonna happen on Coinbase. It's gonna happen on Crypto.com. It's gonna happen on Binance, wherever you end up going. I think the point here is once you kind of sign up for Coinbase, then you can start dropping your hard-earned cash into this murky world that we call crypto. So let's say that you get all that done, and I'm going to take this off screen to sign in. Don't want any creds to be shared. And then, here's a good, always set up your multi-factor authentication. So you have to not only know my password, but as a safety measure, I have it on my phone. I can share this because this thing changes every minute or so. But you set this up, and then this kind of safeguards your bank account, safeguards all of your assets within Coinbase. Absolutely recommended that you set up, we call it multi-factor authentication. I'll repeat for those on the call, but everybody involved, all four of us kind of that are admins here in the Holiday Ape Club, we work in information security. So multi-factor authentication is like, that's table stakes. You got to get that done. So here I am, my code that's expiring in 20 seconds, but that'll verify me as who I am. And then, you can see my portfolio balance currently goes up and down, but hanging out with a little bit of change. I don't mind sharing that. I don't put my house in here. You can see it right now. I've got some Cardano, some ETH, some Chainlink. That's fine. But the point is once you get it here, now you can send and receive crypto, right? So interestingly, you're about halfway home. We're only going to do one more step in this process, and then we'll probably call it a night. But this is the first major step, and that's just setting up some sort of way for you to get, maybe I want to buy. This is something where if I click buy, here, let me take this off screen quick. I don't know if I can share what's on here, but yeah, so it pulls my bank up and it tells you, it basically says, does it matter if I show you the bank I'm in? Probably not. We'll put it on screen, but you can see I have to actually tie it to my bank, so you'll have it at some bank. From a what do you want to buy perspective, you can buy any asset you want, any cryptocurrency that you're feeling that you want to purchase. From a conversion perspective, I know you can. Let's see. I'm trying to remember where convert. I guess I haven't converted here for a while, but what I usually end up doing is I usually end up taking the Bitcoin I mine and I drop it in here because that's a free transfer from my mining platform, and that drops in here as Bitcoin, and then I'll send that Bitcoin off to where, and I use going back here, GMAN says the Google Authenticator is great to use. Yes, it is. And Creature's asking, the importance of having a wallet on the proper blockchain. So that's a good question. When you look at sending and receiving, you need to make sure that you're sending and receiving the same cryptocurrency. So we're going to work just with ETH for now, but you can see I don't have any ETH right now, or I don't have, if I were to send ETH, I'd have to use ETH, and I would be paying with Ethereum. You don't want to send other currencies to the wrong wallet, because then I don't actually know what happens, but I'm pretty sure it just evaporates into nothing. You send it out and it just is gone forever. That's my assumption. I've never done it. We can get into my foibles later in the week. I've made some missteps in the space, and we'll actually go through that. But what we can say is that if you're going to buy your crypto, you do it on this platform in Coinbase. But let's say you want to get that NFT. Now, you want to buy an NFT, and we work with OpenSea. So you probably have heard of OpenSea, or if you haven't, this is kind of the platform to start with. Again, skateboard kind of the spirit of getting things off the ground as soon as possible. You get over here, and I don't remember how do you set something up? You got to figure that out. Oh, here we go. We need an Ethereum wallet to use OpenSea. So it tells you right there. So now you're kind of figuring out what you're doing, and this probably gets back to Creature's question. And it's important that you get the right. I think of it as kind of wallet. I could be wrong, but you can have an ETH wallet, you can have a Crow wallet, you essentially need a wallet for each kind of cryptocurrency. But let's just stick with how do we get to done here. Just go with popular MetaMask. Now MetaMask, the site is smart enough to know which browser I'm using. I did try this with Chrome, and it pops up with the Chrome installer. But so what I would do here is I'd say, well, I guess I should probably get MetaMask, and so you go for the download, right? Install MetaMask. Add to Firefox. This all looks good. Now we're going to add it onto our browser. Yep, you got to have permissions to do stuff. And then all of a sudden I get my sweet little fox over here. And that's my MetaMask fox. And then connecting us to Ethereum and the decentralized web. They're happy to see us. Let's get started. So when you create a wallet, you'll be doing this if this is your first time. But for people, how do I address this part of the journey? So if you're going to set a MetaMask wallet up, you're going to get a secret recovery phrase. The importance of saving this cannot be stressed enough, we'll say. I mean, it's just very important to put this somewhere. I manage most of my stuff in 1Password. I can't show that on screen currently, but I will pull up things I can show. I can't show that either. 1 second here while I make sure that yeah, it's not going to let me. But I think what you'll see from a password manager, because 1Password is a password manager. I know some people use KeyPass, some people use LastPass. I use 1Password. Whatever the case may be, I mean, you could use a vault. You could use a safe deposit box. You could use a Post-it. I don't recommend that, but make sure that your secret recovery phrase is stored somewhere, because the thing is long. Again, I got to pull this off screen. To copy it, but once I have it, I'm going to import my wallet. I'm going to agree to things. Now I have my secret recovery phrase. I have no problem letting you guys see the first few words because it's like 16 words long. Oh, it actually doesn't even show. I could show it, but that'd be bad. New password. And then we got to confirm our password. All you're seeing is dots. that's a good thing, right? And then I copied the wrong thing. One more second. Sorry. Get. There we go. That looks better. That looks better because there's lots of dots there. But we'll go ahead and import that. And we should be good to go. Yay, congratulations. We passed our test. Now, MetaMask does a decent job making sure that, you know, they're stressing keeping your secret recovery phrase safe. Store it in multiple places. This is a good practice. Don't ever share it with anyone. So that's you know, also best practice. But so now we have MetaMask. We're all done. You can see I got a little bit of ETH hanging out, waiting for one of DTK's special projects or whatever, you know. But here we are. So now we've got MetaMask set up. And if you're going to, so there's a whole bunch of mainnets you can do. You can see I only do ETH. But to complete the journey, if we were going to receive some ETH, where is this? Here we go. So here's this account here. This is where you can copy this. And this is where you would end up sending cryptocurrency to. So when we go back to our Coinbase account, if I wanted to send crypto, you would actually copy that in, and that wallet is this rather lengthy hexadecimal string. And then you want to super double check everything, because right now I'm saying chain link. That would be bad because it's an ETH wallet. So make sure your ETH matches your ETH mainnet, right? So I've got my Ethereum mainnet. I've copied my account, and I could send some crypto. So maybe I will send some let's just see if we can send 20 bucks. Why not? See how much it cost me to send $20, right? But we'll send it to that MetaMask account. And optional message, tutorial purposes. So this won't actually process yet. It shows you what we're doing. And so you can see the amount of gas to do this is kind of ridiculous. I'm not going to spend $9.58 to move 20 bucks, but you get the picture. That's how you would do it. So what do? We set up Coinbase because we're awesome, and we set up MetaMask because we need to be further awesome. And now we can transfer the dollars in our bank account to crypto, and we can take our crypto, transfer it to MetaMask, so that now we've got some ETH within our OpenSea area here, and we'll be ready to purchase our NFTs. So yeah, that's what I wanted to accomplish. We got it done in under half an hour, so that's good news. But yeah, thanks again for joining. Let's see if I go back. Question: G-Man's running some good Q&A here. But maybe this will be some good stuff. I'll comb this. G-Man and I will get together and see what we can bring to the table tomorrow. But we'll answer some questions there. I think for now, thanks for joining. DTK will return next week for sure for all of his in-depth reviews on all of the coolest projects. But for now, we're gonna try to get some people from zero to hero, I guess, on this fundamentals week, we'll call it. But anyway, glad you guys could make it, and we'll get this posted online at some point so you can share it or use it later. And I think for now, yeah, we'll just jump over and run a couple games of trivia. And yeah, have a good day and have a good night. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.